Let's see. Yes. Nice to see you, everybody. I am Mike MASSARI. We changed the speaker, so this was not my talk. I created this presentation based on our new RWA focus in RedStone. I'm strategic advisor at RedStone. I've been with RedStone for a few months now. Before, I was head of platform and integration at Chainlink Labs. So Marcin cannot be here, but you get me, which is the second best option. All right, I like to start my talks with a question as well. And we're going to talk about something that is a bit more technical, that is a bit more institutional than the previous project, which is RWA. So let's start with setting the stage. How many of you have used DeFi before to trade stable coins or to trade tokens? So ETH or BTC, show of hands. All right, good amount of people. Fantastic, so keep your hand up. How many of you have used it for trading real world assets? So commodities and stuff like that. One. And the one person, what's your name? Fabrizio. Fabrizio, what is RWA looping? Do you know? Yeah, exactly. So RWA looping is the way that effectively a lot of DeFi protocols are integrating RWA into DeFi. We lived in a world for a very long time where most of the DeFi run and still runs on crypto native assets, but that is changing, and it's changing rapidly. So we want to figure out in the next few minutes why that's changing, why that is important, and why we should all care. So let me take you through a little bit of a journey, and I start with the past. So in the past, stablecoin, NFTs, yield farming, collateralized lending, all of these things that we're very familiar with, they were the essence of DeFi, and we all lived in this like crypto sandbox in which all the crypto assets were crypto assets and all of the real world assets were different assets that didn't exist in blockchain. And we built a bunch of things. We did a lot. And I've been in crypto since 2017. I saw this industry grow like many of you, and I was part of this industry growth like many of you. We focused the last decade around building what is DeFi today. We have protocols like Uniswap, Compound, Morpho, Aave. We have protocols like SushiSwap. We have protocols like RedStone that really created what is the financial stack for native crypto assets today. And obviously we have lending pools, liquid staking, and that really gave like a boost to DeFi in a creation of a like this composable financial universe that we all live in now. And this was awesome. Most of the reason why we're all here today is this. But there's also a bunch of things that we did not build. We didn't build infrastructure for the real world assets. We didn't build composability with traditional finance. And we didn't build on-chain access to global credit, to global yield. And so, because of that, institutions were always a bit shy of crypto. Just now, in the last few years, you've seen, regulations coming into the crypto space. Yesterday, the House in the US just passed a bill for 3 crypto regulatory proposals for stablecoins specifically, mostly for stablecoins. But this is a new thing. And you're seeing this like crypto boom in the market. You saw it with the Trump election when the market just skyrocketed. You're seeing it now because of the same thing. The US government is really, really interested in what's happening in crypto, and institutions are getting interested in what's happening in crypto. So in a word, RWAs, so real world assets, they're breaking in. They're actually trying to become the central focus of crypto. There's a big push from the Ethereum Foundation of Ethereum being the chain for institution, right? And as a matter of fact, RWAs are the second fastest growing vertical in crypto today. First one being stablecoins. So all these things that we talk about and we're very passionate about, the AI, the payment, the gaming, all of these kind of things, they're after RWA. And this is something that not a lot of people talk about. So we wanted to discuss it today. In 2022, RWAs represented pretty much $5 billion within the crypto market. Right? This is commodities and stuff like that. Take a guess. How much is now? Pardon? 26. Are the guesses higher and lower than 26 billion? Higher. It's a bit lower. You're very close. It's 24 billion. But this is a 5-fold almost increase in 3 years. This is 5x. And this shows really what the interest of the industry is. Again, institutions are here. People like BlackRock, people like Citibank, people like Apollo, people like DTCC. These are people that move hundreds of billions with a B of dollars a year. And use cases are here. So, you know, to get a successful recipe when it comes to making something really happen, effectively this is what you need. You need people that want it. You need ways of people to use certain things. And then you need one other piece, which we're still building and is still not quite there, which is infrastructure. Infrastructure is still lacking. We don't have a standard format for RWAs. We don't have oracles that are fast enough. Most oracles are slow. And they don't really have true composability and true modularity. So this creates a certain degree of friction. We talked about RWA looping. I wanted to double click on that a little bit. Fabrizio knows what it is, but many of you don't. Let's say I have an asset, right? Securitize is a big asset issuer, the biggest in the world. Let's say I have ACRED on Solana. What I can do is I can deposit my ACRED into a securitized vault, which is S-ACRED. And then I can supply S-ACRED to a protocol like Drift that has like an isolated pool of ACRED. And with that, I can borrow USDCs that then I can use to buy ACRED on Solana and so on and so forth. And I keep making money on that. And I get yield based on that. This is RWA looping. This is happening today. All of this part that you see on the right is secured by RedStone. So it uses RedStone price feed. We just signed an agreement to be the official oracle of Securitize. And we are enabling actively these DeFi RWA use cases that until just months ago were impossible. And so when we were thinking about this, we sat down, as we usually do on a table. RedStone is a very dynamic team. We're very fast moving. We're very lean. One of the best teams that I've ever worked with in 2 decades of career. And we asked the question, as we usually ask, what is that this thing needs to be successful? What is that the thing needs to scale? And we came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different factors and different properties. First one is easy. And it's kind of straightforward. We talked about it. Real-time data feeds. RWAs, more than many other things, need fast, reliable Oracle updates. Not just stale prices, this is things that need to move very, very quickly. Second is programmability. So we want to make sure that assets are usable by smart contracts, and there can be repayments happening, there can be hooks into the contracts, there can be defaults, and so on. Then obviously, very, very important, we need verifiability and provenance. And this effectively means audit, status, proof of ownership on chain, all the things that are actually making the institutions trust the DeFi part of it. Institutions are very risk averse, as they should be. And so this is probably the most important factor, this and speed. And then finally, obviously, we need interoperability in the same way that we have interoperability on chain, right? You can move stable coins from one chain to the other, from one protocol to the other very easily. You should be able to do this with RWA as well. It just makes sense. And finally, we need standardized risk, and we need standardized metadata. And this in practical terms just means that every RWA should expose risk, yield terms in a way that is, easily machine readable and standard, so that, if something is machine readable, then people can make it human readable. Enter RedStone, which is us. And we are currently the fastest blockchain oracle, period, ever. I worked at Chainlink before. I know the oracle space inside out, been in this space for a while. RedStone by far provides the fastest feed. And I will just tell you how fast in a moment. But we have, the reason why we can do that is because we have a modular multi-chain architecture that effectively means that we separate all the data collection part of the oracle from the delivery part of the oracle. Right? We support push model, so us pushing the data on chain, and then we support pull model, so people requesting the data from us and then putting it on chain themselves. And this happens across over 100 different blockchain, securing $8 billion with a B dollars in TVL for over 1,300 assets, including a bunch of RWAs. We can be fast because we're very modular. We can move fast. We can integrate fast. But moving fast and integrating fast is not just the old piece of the puzzle. We need to be trusted, and we need to have institutional trust and adoption. I mentioned Securitize a moment ago, but BlackRock built a VanEck Treasury Fund, Apollo Sacred, we talked about it, and many others. They are just using us, RedStone, as the official oracle for their institutional assets. And we launched a very new, brand new product, which is called RedStone Bold, just, I think, a month and a half ago. And RedStone Bold is the fastest blockchain oracle ever. And the reason for that is because it pushes on-chain a price update on Mega ETH, which is a layer 2 blockchain on Ethereum, every 2.4 milliseconds. That's 400 times a second. No other oracle in the space is even close to this type of speed. One more thing, which may be the most important thing, we do all this with zero mispricing events, zero downtime since inception. Since the moment that we got our first feed in production on not a testnet, RedStone experienced exactly zero errors, zero interruptions, zero depegging, and we work with over 175 people on over 100 chains. chains go down more often than RedStone does. So to wrap up, as my time almost comes to an end, where is this all going? Right? So what is the future of RWA, and why do we all care about that? Because we eventually will have probably RWA-backed stablecoins. We will have on-chain credit scores, potentially. We will have a real world yield, we already do, flowing into DeFi, as well as global payment rails and cross-chain composability for all the real world values. We released a report, which is a phenomenal bedtime read if you're a nerd like myself. And there is a very nice, too long didn't read part at the beginning. If you're not, which you can access scanning the QR code or going to just redstone.finance-RWA report. It's about 67 pages. Don't be alarmed, there's a lot of pictures. But we talk about this much more extensively. Our analyst actually did an incredible job in making sure that this is accessible and consumable by most. And this is a report of rare precision and rare quality, is now on the desk of every Apollo exec in the world. It can be on your desk too. So to wrap up finally, RWA aren't just a bridge to TradFi, they are ringing infrastructure for the new financial primitives that we're all trying to build and move towards. We're not talking of mass adoption, we're not talking of crypto becoming this big industry and globally recognized thing, and it's becoming that, but it will become that even more because of institutional adoption. So thank you. If you have any questions, please hit me up on mike.massari@redstone.finance or on Twitter @mkmassari. It was lovely talking to all of you. Thank you for your time.